As long as you call on him, he will answer. How many of you have put a demand on him today? How many of you are determined to see him show up and show out in this place? As I was sitting on the front, I kept saying, God, I want to see your glory like I never seen you. Father, I know this atmosphere is already charged with your presence. Lord, just let us enter in wholeheartedly that we may taste you anew and afresh. I don't know about you, but I desire to taste him like I never tasted him. I have known him to be faithful and true. When friends have turned their backs on me, when people have talked about me, he always had good thoughts about me. Even when I couldn't think good about myself, he thought good about me. When I couldn't even say a good word about myself, every time I looked in the mirror, I cursed myself and told myself how bad of a mess up I was. But you know what? The whole time he was standing there and saying, my beloved, my daughter, I have called you for such a time as this. How can you turn your back on somebody that loves you so much? How do we walk away from a God that loves us so much? And when we come in here week after week, service after service, in his presence and here, and we don't tap into it, we're turning our backs. He is here today, church. He is here. We don't need apostle to be here to have church. We don't need bishop up here to have church. All we need is the Father to show up, and he has showed up. He is here. As I was sitting there, he said, I'm elevating my people. So with elevation comes great growth. We can't stay on the same level that we're on if we're expecting to elevate. You know, I got real nervous yesterday because God wasn't saying anything. I ain't even going to lie, I was sick. So I called on some friends that I believe can pray. I said, y'all got to touch and agree with me right now because God ain't saying anything. I mean, he was quiet. So you know what I started doing? I started soul searching. I was like, okay, God, where have I sinned? Where have I felt short? Yeah, I need you to show up. And we only got such and such hours left on the clock. So, you know, I said, okay, I'm going to just sit here because when all else fails, he says, stand still. I said, okay, God, I'm going to sit here still and quiet. So I turned on some worship music and I sat. And I sat a little bit longer, and I sat a little bit longer. By this point, I'm really sweating. And I said, but God, you said if I open my mouth, you'll feel it. So if I don't get the first word until I step into the pulpit, I know you're with me. So I sat there a little bit longer, and he spoke, the shift is on. So when I got that, Lord, my baby jumped. Hey, we going somewhere. So God's got a plan. He's already mapped out some direction. So there's a plan on our behalf today because the shift is on. So, you know, I started thinking about that childhood game where you run by and you tag somebody and you're it. I come to let you all know this morning you're it because we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Minister James, if you will please read Ecclesiastes 3:1 for us.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
How many of you know this is my time? Hey, if it's my time, it's your time. And we're all a corporate body, so it's our time. Because wherever we're going together because I refuse to leave any of y'all behind. If you need a birthing coach, if you need a midwife, I will be there to cheer you on because I come to let you know the shift is on. We're moving somewhere. We're not even taking the next level, but I believe we're taking the next dimension. We're not going to just take our city, but we're going to take the surrounding city. We're going to take the state of Florida. Then we're going to get Alabama and Georgia. Hey, we're a hope to the nations. We're going to take the whole nation. The shift is on. I've come to let you know today that no matter what your pains of your last season might have been, you know, every time you go to give birth, there's some tough pains. They're called contractions. Your body goes through some stuff in those upcoming hours. And by the time you get to the end, you don't think you can take any more. You're even telling them, I don't care what you got to do, just get this thing out. I can't do it anymore. But once that baby comes out, that new bundle of joy, it's a fresh, it's a new, you've been anticipating it for 9 months. You've been preparing for it. You've been talking about it. All you thought about was this little thing you're carrying on the inside of you. You have nurtured it. You have took care of it. You took the vitamins. You drank the right amount of water. You stayed away from the food they told you not to eat. You didn't drink no caffeine. I mean, you took care of this. And you hadn't even seen it yet. All you've heard was a heartbeat. How many of you have found yourself in a place today that you haven't seen it, but you know there's something on the threshold? You know there's something on the horizon. All you can do is hear the heartbeat. And you know what that is? The heartbeat of the Father. He's letting you know, okay, my beloved, I am here with you. Even in the still of the night when you don't think anybody else is there, I am with you. I'm about to take you to a new dimension. There's going to be a great birthing in this new season. We're going to birth new ministries. We're going to birth new outreaches. We're going to birth new facilities. We're going to birth new vehicles, because we're going to have vehicles to go out and get these people. Because God is calling for this place to be great. We're not called to be a few, but we are called to be an emergency room to the broken and the hurting. Have you ever been in an emergency room where it be empty? I went last week, and even though there was just 3 people in there, I waited for hours. And all you want to do is go in there, get fixed, and go home. Because if I'm there, I'm really sick, because I have to be sick to go. But every time I go in there, it's never empty. So I've never been to a theme park and it be empty. And what's more exciting than coming into the presence of the Almighty God and giving him a shabak? I mean, what is more exciting than sitting at his feet and wiping his feet with our hair as we cry tears of love and adoration on his feet? What more exciting is that? I haven't found anything more satisfying than I have found the Spirit of the Lord. My life was not completely full of joy till I tapped into the fullness of who my Father was and what he has for me. Without him, I was missing pieces. I don't care how many people I try to link up in my circle. I don't care how many relationships I try to form. But without him, I was missing something. And you know, no matter where I looked, high or low, far and wide, I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. But that day he showed up for me in the shower, and I could release all my fears, all the incapabilities that I had in myself, all the unworthiness that I carried, all the hurt and the pain, all the scars that day. Once I released it, I had found completion. I had found fullness. I had found where I belonged. You know, it's bad that I walked through my life into 20-something years old feeling like I didn't belong. I knew I was different, but I didn't know why. Even though they tried to tell me, I was like, I'm not worthy of this. God, you know what I did last night. You know what I did last week. God, you know I'm not worthy to carry your gospel. But you know what? He said, I called you before the foundations of the earth. He said, I placed you in your mother's womb before she even knew you. He said, I have called you. And if I called you, no man can take you under. He said, all you got to do is surrender. So when I heard that voice, Michelle, with such love and compassion, all I could do was cry and break. And I gave it to him that day. And you know what? I have not seen him forsake me. Have I failed since then? Absolutely. Have I walked out some great trials? Yes, I have. Has my heart been broken more than you can ever imagine? But you know what? I seen it differently. With every broken heart, that was a stepping stone to get me closer to where he's taking me. With every broken heart, that was him getting me closer to him. Why? Because I learned I couldn't trust everybody. And everybody don't have the thoughts that I have towards them. If you're my friend, I want to see you succeed. I want to see you make it. I'm your biggest fan. I'm going to encourage you as much as I can. And I am very sensitive. I know when you're going through it, and I will check on you. But not everybody had my back like that. And you know, through growth, I learned who my real friends were. Through spiritual growth, you'll learn who really has your back. Because not everybody's going to go with you when you grow. Not everybody's going to cheer you on when you run off and leave them on another level because they're not willing to shift. And then you get to a place where God calls you to cut because they're not going where you're going. And then you cut. And then you see them go through some shipwrecks that they shouldn't be going through if they would only have surrendered when they had the chance, and all you can do is pray. I mean, God says don't say anything but pray, so I pray your will. This week has been one of those times where I've had to just pray, God, I pray your will. No matter what you're facing, whatever it may be, I pray the will of God. Why? Because I don't want my will to be done. I don't want your will to be done, but I want his will to be done. Because he is the justifier of all. So if he justifies you in front of people and he promotes you and he shifts you up to another dimension, you belong there. That's just for you. Enjoy it. You know, it's okay to turn back and wave at them too and say, look, I've made it. Hey, it ain't being mean. I want my haters to know you pushed me here. Thank you. I cried enough tears because I was broken that I got here. Thank you. So to all my haters out there, I thank you for pushing me to this place. And all my friends and people that love me and supported me and prayed, I thank you also, because without you, I would not be here. But we're on the dawning of a new season like no other. I heard the Lord say it's going to be a mind-blowing season. So if God's going to blow my mind, I know there's great things coming. I know I'm going to tap into some greatness. Whether I believe it's going to be spiritual. Yes, we're going to tap into something we ain't never seen or even tasted spiritually. But I also heard the Lord say, I'm going to make this a natural, mind-blowing season. So what does that mean? He's going to give me finances I knew not of. He's going to give me healing that I didn't even know I needed. He's going to save my kids in this season. My kids are going to fall deeper in love with him. They're going to start walking in their divine destiny and purpose and in their calling. Why? Because I'm not going to leave my babies behind. If we're shifting, they're shifting. Why? Because this mama's going to stand on the wall. She's going to pray every prayer she can pray. She's going to quote every scripture she can quote, because my babies will be what they were called and destined to be. And when I say my babies, I mean everyone in IWC Youth Department. I pray over all our babies, because I know there's fixing to be greatness coming out of that youth group. We've already seen God start to work. We've seen God start stirring up their hunger. We started seeing a desire to be in the house of the Lord. So don't tell me my God ain't real. When you got teenagers wanting to come to church, you know there's a real God here. I've come to tell you, in this new season comes new visions. You are going to see things in a new light. So the things that looked dark last season, you're going to see life, and life more abundantly in this new season. So when your bank account looked dreary last season, this season it's going to be sunshine. I ain't going to have no cloudy days. This shift is bringing new assignments. How many of you know if you go to a new level, a new dimension, you're going to have new assignments? How many of you are ready to see something new or fresh? I'm ready for the new assignment. Lord, send me to wherever you have for me to go. Give it to me, and I will open my mouth and speak it. You called me to be a prophetess in these last days. Give me your word. I'll prophesy. I will go wherever you call me to go. Lord, I am ready for a new assignment. The Father is requiring more of you in this season. This season, we're going to have to fast more. We're going to have to pray more. We're going to have to read more. And some of us has already tapped into it where God has been requiring more. You know, sometimes I get so busy, God be like, you ain't spent no time with me. I'll be like, oh, Lord, I'm sorry. So I carried the Bible app on my phone. So every time I start forgetting, I'll turn the app on and read a little something. Why? Because he's requiring it. And I don't want to get out of a perfect alignment with him because I don't want to miss this next shift. I don't want to miss this new season. I don't want to come in here and all of y'all be elevating around me and I'm on the same level looking around like, where are you at, God? What happened to me? Because this next shift is going to be a corporate shift. It's for everybody. He wants us all on the same level because we got a job and we got to get it done. And how many know time is winding up? We don't have as much time as we had last year. We don't have the time we had 6 years ago. We don't even have the time we had 10 years ago. God is coming quickly. We are in the last days. And the Bible says he's going to come in a twinkling of an eye, and nobody's going to know the day or the hour. So we have to be preparing ourselves now. How do you know this new shift he's talking about ain't us being in glory? We don't know where he's taking us. He ain't told me where we're going. He just said, I'm shifting. But I want to be in a place, if it is the shift in the glory, I want to be there. I want my permanent residence in heaven. So that means I got to fix myself now. And we all have some areas in our lives that we can still fix. We're human. Even the good book says we're none perfect. We all fall short. So why do you think his grace and his mercy is new every day? Because he knows we're going to fall. But he doesn't intend for us to stay in our mess. It's up to us to pick ourselves up, repent, and turn from the very appearance of evil. So when God says don't go, don't go. If God says don't say it, don't say it. There's been a lot of stuff I would like to say, and God's been saying, nope, don't say it. And I'll be like, but God, he's like, we're not debating. I said no. Even like yesterday, there was some stuff I wanted to say when it wasn't coming to me like I thought it was. And he said, I said no. I said, okay, God, we're going to just sit here, just me and you. You got to get to a place where it's quiet. That's why you want to know why you're cutting people. You want to know why you're pulling yourself back? Because he's releasing you from chaos. As I was preparing for yesterday, he said, tell my people that I'm releasing them from the chaos. How many of you find yourself in a whirlwind sometimes? There's chaos everywhere as you look. It's chaos on the right. It's chaos on the left and front and back. I mean, your whole world just seems like it's turned upside down. And you're wondering, what in the world did I do to deserve this? I come to let you know you didn't do anything to deserve that. But it's just the birthing pains to get you to the next level. Not only will you get new assignments, but you also are going to inherit new territories. How many ready to go to a new place? I'm believing this year, 2018, before it ends, I will have a brand new house. I am tired of living in that small house. I am very thankful for the gift God gave me, but we outgrew it. We outgrew it when Mackenzie came. Now we've really outgrew it since Callie came. 100-pound dog in that little confined environment, it don't work. We have to tell her, move, Callie, just so we can walk. And she's determined to stay right with you. So you can't go to the right. You can't go to the left. All your choice is either back up or give up. How many of you found yourself there where you felt like you couldn't move on the right, you couldn't move on the left, you couldn't move in the front, and the only thing you could see is going back? Well, I come to encourage you today, never look back, because God has so much greater for you. You know, it's so easy to turn around and look what's behind you instead of looking forward, because even I find myself, even in the worship service, every sound that I hear, I want to look back to see what it is. But I'm having to learn to trust God to have my back. So I'm trying to train myself not to look back to every noise. Because how many of you know the devil will send noise and distractions your way, trying to trip you up, make you fall, when we need to learn not to get caught up in the chaos of life. God's called us to live a peaceful, loving life. We should be one of the people that just shoots the breeze, just every day living in la la land. You know, it's a good day in the neighborhood. It should be a good day in your neighborhood every day because you're a king's kid. He's called us for greatness. So if I'm called for greatness, I'm never meant to be sad, right? Because sadness ain't greatness. Sadness don't feel good. So I'm determined, I'm called to have good days every day. So I'm going to put my words on assignment to speak good days. No longer will I have a bad day. Hey, I'm going to prophesy. What it says, speak things as though they are, even though they're not. So we're going to speak, we're going to have all good days. The sun's going to be shining every day. I believe it. I love the sun. I love to lay out in it. I love to play in the water when it's warm. I love the sun. So it's going to be sunny every day. Yes, I know there needs to be rain to make things grow, and God will do that too. But over me, I'm going to carry sunshine. I'm going to be a light into this dark and dying world. Hey, I was called to be bright. I was called to be different. I was called to be unique. So I'm going to just shine all the time. And you know what? People are going to wonder why I'm different. And I'm going to be able to have an opportunity to minister to them and tell them of the loving, healing powers of God. Because if there was ever a person broken and hurt, that was me. I walked out some great, great hurts as a preacher's kid. If anybody ever wanted to make a spectacle out of anybody, Minister James, it was always me. They were always trying to get me saved. They were always trying to cast out demons. I mean, no matter how good I was doing, by the time I left youth class, I didn't think I even had an identity other than being a sinner. Because of my calling that they seen, they were jealous. So, of course, the devil made spectacles. Why? Because that put me in a holding place that my gifting wasn't fully birthed and fully in use because I was so broken. So you want to know why you've been in those broken areas? You want to know why you've been in those holding places? It's because the devil is intimidated by what you have to offer. You are a threat to the kingdom. So if he can keep you sitting down broken and quiet, he knows he ain't got a fight on his hands. But when you get up, the fight of his life's on, because you all have great destiny and purpose. You are all called for such a time as this. You are going places in the spirit that you have never been before. I heard the Lord say, I am growing my people like never before. He said, because I'm looking for mature people to get the job done. So you want to know why you're maturing? You want to know why you're outgrowing some things and outgrowing some people? Because he's looking for a mature person. Because you have work to get done. For time is winding up. The Lord is moving quickly in this hour. This is going to be an hour where he moves so quickly. It's just going to be mind-blowing because we're not going to be able to keep up in the natural. We're going to come in from one service to the next, and we're going to be on a whole different dimension. We're going to be took out thousands of legions of devils during the week, and we're just going to be soaring because God is going to be moving so quickly. I believe that we're going to see people come in off the streets and get saved one Sunday, come back Wednesday, and they'll be prophesying. Why? Because God says that once you repent, the gift is even without repenting. So even if they're a sinner and they start speaking something and your baby jumps, you better listen. Because the gift is without repentance. Now, am I saying they're right? Absolutely not. Do I condone sin? Absolutely not. Do I believe we need to be holy? Yes, I do. But I'm just saying, sometimes God will use a sinner to speak to you because you can't trust everybody that walks with you. The people that walks with you knows you too good. So they know where you're going, and they might want to be a roadblock. So God has to use somebody outside the box to move you past the roadblock that they had set up for you. So do I believe a sinner can speak into my life? Absolutely. Do I believe sinners can sow into my life? Yes, I do. Hey, I have seen it where my mom and dad did not know where grocery was coming from, Miss DeVita. The doorbell rang, and there was a drunk man standing on our front porch asking to speak to the preacher's wife. And my dad went and got my mom, and you know that man laid some money in her hand, and he said, "The Lord sent me by today to give you this." And it was exactly what she needed to buy groceries for a week. It wasn't somebody in our congregation. Do I believe God probably spoke to somebody in the congregation first and they forfeited their blessings from it? Absolutely. Do I believe the sinner was blessed for his gift? Yes, I do. You've got to be willing. I don't care if these people are millionaires. If God tells you to sow $20, sow the $20. How do you know that ain't the roadmap to get you to the next $1 million bracket? I'm going past $1 million. I want to be a billionaire. I want to own my own planes and a fleet of cars and houses, and I want vacation spots. I want to go to Tuscany. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Rome. I want to go to Bora Bora. He said, dream big. So I'm dreaming big. I'm going somewheres. How many of you know it might not, hey, God could call me to preach a revival in Bora Bora, and then somebody bless me with a vacation while I'm over there. Hey, I'm about my Father's business, so wherever he sends me is where we're going. So, God, if you want to send me to Italy, I am ready. I'm sure Michelle's ready to go, too. The Lord is moving quickly in this hour. In this time of shifting, he is turning things in the favor of his beloved. And all night last night as I was studying, he didn't say children very often. He didn't say my people very often. But he used a new word that he normally doesn't use when he speaks to me. And it really keened my ear to, he said, my beloved. So what is my beloved? My beloved is my husband. So that means he is preparing his bride. He is even turning our identity from his people, his child, to his beloved. That's got significant meaning because we are in the end times. He's preparing his bride. And you know that I caught it like quickly too, and normally I wouldn't even pay attention. But when he spoke my beloved, I would say, wait a second, God. You normally don't talk on this level, so I got quieter. And he spoke to me. He said, because your identity is changing. You're going from my people, from my children, into my bride, my beloved. And how many of you know the bride of Christ has to be without spot, without blemish? So how are we going to get pure? By changing our thoughts, by changing the way we speak. Be quick not to judge. You know, it's so easy to be judgmental. But I'm really learning to watch what I say. God is the only vindicator. I can't vindicate myself. I can't vindicate you. Judge and jury can't. Only God can. And the outcome of your life is going to be what God has set it to be. So no matter how many haters you have, no matter how many followers you have, my son is very big on Instagram followers. He hit 300 and we thought, wow, he had really accomplished something. But isn't it so sad that our generation and our timing has come down to how many followers we have when we are the follower? We follow Christ. We are a Christ-like people. I'm only called to be a light here. I'm only called to be a voice. I was called to be a wife and a mother and a minister. But most of all, I was called to be light. Is your light shining? In this shift, people are going to see your light like never before. People are going to call on you to pray because they're going to find you to be a people that labor, that dwells in a godly place. He said, because I've hidden you in the cleft for such a time as this. So do I believe we're fixing to get on the map? Absolutely. Do I believe our identities fixing to be known in the surrounding areas? Absolutely. Are we going to the nations? Absolutely. Do we need each and every one of you to help with the vision? Absolutely. How many of you are excited about the vision of IWC? I've loved knowing we're going to the nations. I like different cultures. I'm a very picky eater, though. I probably won't eat with many. But I love learning new cultures. I love how they look. I love how, their history. But now when it comes to eating, I think I'll say American. I might eat a little Mexican and a little Chinese and Japanese, but that's about all you're getting out of this one. I've come to encourage you today, no matter what you are going through, when the enemy has came in like a flood, trying to detour you from moving in the time of divine shifting. How many of you have been at a place where you felt like you're kind of detouring? You're over here one minute, you're over there the next, you're over here, you're over here. Even when you pray or even when you go to study, your mind's just all over the place. Hey, that's me. But God says today, He is lifting up the standard. We are not going to be detoured in this next shift. That means we're all going to be on the same page. One mind, one accord. We're all coming in here for the same purpose, and that's to lift up the Almighty. We serve the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And we're the middle. Are we letting God use us to write His story? Is my life writing a God-like story? Because I might be the only story many reads. But I've got to be careful that my life is writing a God-like story. He's the author, and He's the finisher. He's the proofreader. He does it all. But I've got to be in a place that I am telling a God-like story. Everybody has to see me being godly, being different. I don't mind being different. I don't even mind being Christ-like. But when the devil comes in like a flood and it starts storming, it's easy. It's easy, church, to get off focused. It's easy to start missing services. It's easy to start missing prayer times. It's easy not to read as much. But I got news for the devil. Not this time. Not this time. I know too much about him to be detoured and distracted this time. He's been way too good to me, Michelle, for me to give up this time. I'm going to stand this time. Even in the eye of the worst storm, I'm going to stand because I know Him to be the anchor. I know Him to be the one to speak to the winds and they stop blowing. I know that He can speak to the rain and it stops. I know too much about him to be detoured this time. For my divine purpose and destiny in this shift is what he's bringing me into. You want to know where we're going? We're going to your divine destiny and purpose. You want to know where you're going? Into the fullness of who he is. We're going to know him like we've never known him before. I want a relationship like Adam had. I want him to come commune with me like I'm his best friend, and he sits there and he tells me his whole heart. Now, I ain't talking about these fake friends. We all got that smiles to our face and then talks evil behind our back, and we really don't, you know they lying. Anybody seen people like that? Be like, I know you are not for me like you're saying, but we're going to just roll with it because, you know, I'll let God deal with you. I'm not. Hey, we all got them people trying to link up. But I know all his thoughts towards me are good thoughts. I know that the only desire he has is for me to prosper and for me to walk into the fullness of who he created me to be. So if there's not anybody else in this world I can trust, I know I can trust Jesus. Because he said, and he's a man that he should not lie, and he said all his thoughts towards me are good. I've come to let you know today every assignment from hell that has been sent to alter or delay your destination is being destroyed. No longer are we going to have to fight. He says we are enter into a place of rest. That's why I'm keep looking to my notebook. Y'all know normally I don't even look at it. But there was so much prophetic insight that he gave me that I don't want to miss anything. I want us to get it all. The Lord says unto you today, do not be discouraged, for I am with you. I am shifting things in your favor now. How many of you have things you need shifted in your favor? I know there's some things that I've been praying for I need God to shift. And I'm believing that shifted today. I believe God is moving some paperwork from the bottom to the top. Some things they won't say they ain't going to happen till later on. They're going to call me and it's going to be speeded up. Why? Because my God said he shifts it in my favor. I've come to let you know today, no matter how intense the pain has been in this last season, it was only birthing the fullness of your destiny and your purpose. You will step into during this time a divine shifting. When it's a corporate shifting, we're going somewheres. But normally when he does things corporately, it's fast. You know, personal shiftings, it comes over seasons, and you see growth a little at a time. But with this corporate shift, I really believe it's going to be a suddenly. So I'm believing from today to Wednesday, we're going to grow supernaturally. And when we come in here Wednesday, there ain't going to be nothing that can stop us. We're going to be unstoppable on our jobs this week. We're going to be unstoppable in our families this week. We're going to be unstoppable to everybody around us because we're going to have a divine encounter with the Lord. You have been faithful over a little, my child. Now I, your God, who holds all power, now makes you ruler over a lot. So that means we're going from a day of lack to a day of overflow. Hey, I love the word overflow. I love the word greater. Hey, lack and me don't go good together. And if you want me to get really upset and really ugly, it's when I'm broke. I don't like it. I don't like not knowing where the next dollar's coming from. I don't like having to wait till Friday. I don't like having to wait. I'm the type of person I want it there now. Whether I spend it or not, I just want to know it's in my possession. Because you never know, I might want something. And how many of you know it? Every time you go shopping with money, you normally don't find anything. Does it work like that for y'all? But on the days you don't have a lot, you find everything you want. And you have to walk out and leave it. Yeah, that don't work good with me, because then I get ugly within myself, because I get mad. I be like, I want that. I don't want to wait. It might not be there when I come back. But you know, if it was meant for me when I come back, it's still there, and then it'll be on sale. And so I won't even have to pay full price for it, but I got exactly what I wanted. Hey, I'm going to get stuff free in this new season. See, Minister James for years has been telling me he's going to get me this Maserati when he gets blessed. So I believe this is the season Minister James is going to get blessed, and he's going to drive up with my Maserati and hand me the keys paid for. And every time I drive in the parking lot, everybody's going to know that Minister James is blessed because he sold a Maserati. Hey, I'm going to praise him for his blessings. Lord, bless him. Lord, overflow him. Because, yes, Lord, I want a Maserati. He don't even know what it was, so I showed him. But he says he'll give us the desires of our heart. You know, I desire great things spiritually, but he cares about the natural things too. So my red bottom Louis Vuittons, I will preach in a pair. I will wear a Marc Jacobs suit. Why? Because I desire those things. Hey, I've been faithful over the little bit I got. I know I can rock something greater. And I'll take real good care of it too. Hey, some of you don't desire that. Some desires guns and boats and hunting lands and all that other kind of stuff. I want nicer things. I just like sparkly things, blingy things, you know, anything girly. That's where we at. And God's going to do it in this season. Because this season will have no lack. We are going to see prosperity, healing, and fullness like never before. You have served and served. Now is the time you will see the fruit of your labors. How many have been a servant for a long time? Wherever the Lord wants to use me, that's where you're at, and you will do whatever that needs to be done, whether it be for you, for the preacher, for the church. I mean, you just go wherever you are needed. And God said he is fixing to bless the labor of your hands. Ruler of much. You know, he spoke that to us on the page before. He said he was going to make us rulers of much. Rulers of much means ownership. So I'm not even going to just borrow these things. These things ain't just going to come in and go out. I'm going to own these things. These things are going to be mine. So this means they're going to reside with me. So when people look at me, they're going to see this stuff because I have ownership of it. The Maserati's going to sit in my driveway. The Rolls Royce will sit in my driveway. I will live in a bigger house than I live. That'll be my permanent address. That'll be the address on all the bills that come in that God's going to send in the overflow to pay. Because how many know with bigger territories, bigger spaces comes bigger power bills. You use more water because I'm going to have the hot tub. I'm going to have the jetted tub in my bathroom. Come on. Y'all better write y'all's visions down and make it plain. Y'all better know what y'all want. I learned that if you want God to do something, write it down. Let him know what you want. I don't want half of my vision. If you're going to give me my visions and my dreams, I want all. You know, when you're looking for a mate, you know what you're looking for. God might change your mind on some things because I promised God and promised everybody else I wouldn't look at this one feature, and lo and behold, if my husband doesn't have it. So I knew it was only God because any other time they wouldn't have got past hello. Yes, I was that picky because there's just one certain thing that just gets on my nerves, and I would even make people show me before I even decided to go out on a date with them, and if they had this one feature, it don't get past hello. It's like, thank you, have a nice day, now I'm busy. But God had other plans, and I've just learned to adapt with them and roll with them, just like I do in ministry. You know, God gives you stuff that you wouldn't necessarily want to do, but he called you to do it, so you roll with it. But in the end, it's a great blessing. So, God has found you to be tried and tested, and he has found you faithful for this new season of manifestation. Time like never before. This is going to be a season that God is going to manifest stuff for you. It's not going to be where you sow and sow and sow and you don't reap anything. This is going to be a season of great manifestation. God, now this is just what I wrote, because at this point I'm really like crying and really just like thanking God for where he's taken us, because when he prospers you, I know I'm going to prosper, because we're all the same body. We're part of the same tribe. Whatever's on the head flows through the body, and we know Apostle's going to be blessed. So at this point, I'm just rejoicing for all of us for where we're going into. So I said, God, no matter how crazy it may sound and no matter how crazy it may look, I'm going to step out and do it, because I know you use the foolish to confine the wise. For I do not look unto people, but I look unto you, Lord. People's approval means nothing to me these days. You know, I mean, I love it when somebody says you did a great job. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I love that. But, you know, I don't look to people's approval, because as long as I know I'm doing what God called me to do and God's pleased with me, that's all that matters to me. That's why I want to stay in an intimate place that I know God, and I know whether he's happy or he's upset, because he'll let you know. That little still voice on the inside of you that says, don't say that. You shouldn't have did that. Yeah, that's God. And it's so easy to override. But we should always pray for the Holy Spirit to guide us throughout the day. For I don't look unto people, but I look unto you. People's approvals mean nothing, but yours means everything. For greater that is in me, that's all in the world. You know, I have greatness on the inside of me because I carry the kingdom of the Most High God. I am the kingdom. I hold the keys to the kingdom. I possess the kingdom. That makes me what? A kingdom people. So I don't care what might go on around me or whatever might happen. I know I possess the kingdom, and the king resides on the inside of me, so I know I'm okay. Now, when you got to worry is when he departs from you. And then that's between you and him. When God shifts, we shift. He has already answered your prayers. Everything that you've had asking for, every petition you have out, everything you desire, he's already answered it. He's already provided it to you. He is waiting for you to shift into it. It's about a mindset. Don't slow down in this shift. Whatever you do, don't slow down. Don't get weary in well-doing. Don't get tired. Stay focused. Because this time of divine acceleration that's happening now is going to be mind-blowing, life-changing. Don't lag behind in this season, for I am manifesting my greatest plan in you. Yes, my child, is bigger than bigger than you've ever imagined. You have been in a season of waiting. Now is my time for manifestation. Miracles will unfold. It's going to be mind-blowing. In the mind of your enemies, for the carnal mind cannot comprehend what I'm about to do for you. So I come to let you know your haters ain't going to understand it. They're not going to get it. But just know that God did it. My saying right now in this season, just do it, God. Just do it. This is for my glory. Shift with me this day, my chosen, my beloved. How many of you are ready to shift? How many of you are really ready to go to the next level? I know I am. I know God has greatness for IWC. I know he has greatness for every family that is in covenant with IWC. Every household that is in covenant with IWC is going to be blessed during this shift. Because God said it's a corporate shift. So that means it is for everybody. Because if I'm in a corporation in the natural, all the benefits of that corporation is for me. Their 401k, their retirement, their health insurance, whatever they have is for me. So I come to let you know that everything that is in store in this new shift belongs to you as long as you're in covenant with God and with this house. Stand up on your feet and praise him for the shift. Praise him for the new level you're about to possess. Praise him for what you're going to get out of this new season. I believe things are going to manifest quickly. I can go to sleep tonight broke and wake up a millionaire in the morning. Why? Because God can do some supernatural transfer in the midnight hour. What is that saying? Late in the midnight hour, God's turning it around for my good. I'm blessed in the city. I'm blessed in the field. I'm blessed going in, and I'm blessed going out. I am called to be a blessed somebody. I have never been called for lack, but I have been called for greatness. I have been called for more than enough. And I'm going to get in that level where I have more than enough. I refuse to live one more day in lack. Hey, I'm going to be a prosperous somebody. You're going to prosper. Why? Because we are connected. And God said this shifting is a corporate shift. I don't know about you, but that makes me excited. That means gifts are going to show up at my door. That means money's going to show up in my mailbox. That means bills are going to be paid off. What is that confession we read week after week? We're going to see those things manifest in our lives in this season for those of us that believe. I'm excited. God is doing some great things for us, IWC. We're going to have to give up our seats soon, so don't get too comfortable. That's my chair. Well, you might have to give it up. I believe we're supposed to have to put up overflow screens in Honey Rock that they can just watch on the overflow screen because we're not going to be able to house them all in the building. How many of you know, but the same glory that falls in here will be the same glory that falls up there. And most of the time, I'd rather be in overflow because there's more room. And you ain't near as confined to one little tight area. Hey, we are too big for these walls. These walls cannot hold us. You are too big for your house. Your house is too small. It's time to enlarge your territories. Hey, some of y'all might be living in your dream house, and I tip my hat to you. I'm excited for you, but I'm not. I need some more room. My kids have too much stuff, and my dog is too big. Callie is a great access to our family. We love her, but she is just too big for the small space I got. But she was a blessing Mackenzie prayed in. And God gave her the desires of her heart. And if anybody loves Mackenzie, Callie loves Mackenzie. 100-pound puppy. She is 8 months old and weighs 100 pounds, and she stands about right here in height. She's taller than a dresser. One of those the long one, she is taller than a dresser. Her head is taller than our door handle. Just to give you kind of, but Kenzie prayed for Clifford, the big red dog, where everybody knows Clifford is imaginary. So in me, looking to flesh, I was like, okay, God, how in the world am I going to give this kid Clifford, the big red dog, when he only exists in books? So we had tried to convince Mackenzie to get one of them cute little girly dolls, the little fuffies you could carry in your purse, and she was not having anything to do with that. No, Mom, I want a big rescue dog. So we had everybody looking. I think even Mom asked the church to help us look because we knew we were getting Kenzie a dog for Christmas. Well, we looked high and low. We looked everywhere and could not find a dog. So one night, late at night, and I'm going to tell you how God blesses, even in the natural. I was up one night later than normal, and I was on a buy, sell, and trade ad, and this lady posted a CKC registered English Mastiff. So I didn't even know what kind of dog that was, but I inquired, and she said she was wanting to know what we were needed for. Well, we're using it as sensory with Mackenzie's autism. It is a calming mechanism for Mackenzie. And yes, Callie does know when Mackenzie's having a sporadic day, and she stays with her, and her and Mackenzie has a bond that cannot be broken. But so we were on there, and she told me she wanted $900. Well, I knew where we sat at that time, and I knew $900 for a dog was not in my budget. I don't even think I wanted to pay $900 for a dog if I had $900. Let's just be honest. Even if I had the money, I don't think I could find myself paying $900 for a dog, especially if I don't know this dog is going to last and stay with me for a while. So we ended the conversation, and I put my phone down, and I was like, okay, God, this is you. You know, it was several hours later, way in the wee hours of the morning, my phone goes off. My husband sits up, who is texting you at this time? You know, because after a certain time, everybody knows my phone don't go off because me and Kenzie normally goes to bed early. So I get up and I read the text. The lady, Miss Davita, a sinner lady, had an encounter with God between the hour I talked to her and the wee hours of the morning. And she said, if you can be in Mariana by 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I will give you the dog. Not only did she give us the dog, but she gave me the papers so the dog is registered, which makes her value go up. Then she gave me all the accessories that go with the dog. So, and then Kenzie wanted a trampoline, and she prayed. And you know what? I had a friend I hadn't talked to in 4 or 5 months call me and say, what is Mackenzie wanting for Christmas? I said, well, the only thing she has on her list is a dog and a trampoline. And do you know that lady and her husband went out and bought the trampoline? So everything that she desired in the natural, God reined it in. Why? Because she has childlike faith. If you ask Mackenzie, Mackenzie believes God can do anything. The dog gets sick. She went to her pop-pop. Pop-pop, you got to pray. Callie is sick. She starts praying. And you know what happens? The dog gets better. You've got to start believing God for crazy things. Things you don't think God is concerned about, that you are. He's concerned about it all. I encourage you to pray about even the crazy things that you don't think nobody else cares about. They might not. But the Father cares about anything that you care about. How many of you are blessed to be in the house of the Lord today? How many of you got something out of the rhema word that flowed from the throne room? Because it was not me, because I had nothing. I was freaking out, nothing. Like I was sick to my stomach, nothing. Because I thought I was going to come in here, look like a total fool because I did not have a word. And all of y'all would have left out of here talking about she must just not have got in her prayer closet. She must not have been in a place to hear from God. Y'all just don't know how bad I sweated and prayed to get this word. Because I was like, God, you said if I open my mouth, you'll fill it. But I said, normally you allow me to have it on paper before I get in there. And I knew I was going to be super nervous today, and I did not know why. I'm normally not as nervous as I was today. I even looked at Michelle during praise and worship, and I told her I thought I was going to throw up because I was so nervous. But how many of you know the devil would like to get me distracted because I had such a prophetic, profound word that was being released over this house? I do not do it in myself because Chasity cannot come up with this stuff. Chasity is a blonde. And when Chasity is at home on freak out mode, Chasity is a mess. So we know it came from the throne room of God, and it made sense. At this time, I am going to turn it over to Minister James.